That's right, you are now listening to Tommy Tom's One Mic. Warning, this podcast contains explicit language, triggering or sensitive topics, and controversial discussions. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tommy Tom's One Mic.
I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Split personality, you know it's I. You never seen my kind, never seen a fucking sliver or a slice. I'm the butcher, choice cuts, know I'm nice. You got beef? I got waggle with a knife. Now I'm gonna be wrapping up bodies up at night. Like Ray Charles, y'all know I'm out of sight. Now I'm gonna be slaying niggas, cause you know I love the life. Yo, you gotta read between the lines. I'm only gonna be moving when I'm read through all the signs. Johnny Mnemonic, I got an upgraded mind. This is for the rebels and their revolutionary minds. Cybernetic linguistics, you know I'm on my mind. Prototype the new dimension, man, that shit is mine. Future is creation and creation is sublime. Make your own legend, only happens with time.
Let's hit the mic.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tommy Tom and One Mic. Today I have a very special guest. It's from the Dirty Jers, I believe. Am I correct in saying that there, my friend?
Yes, you are. Yeah, 100%.
The Dirty Jers, Mr. Stephen Pocaro. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you, Tom?
You know, you get by day by day. Wake up. What
Feel
about
that in my
yourself?
soul. I'm good. Good. Just ran away from my family to hang out with you for an hour.
Yeah, I see that. You're hiding in your car. That is the...
I'm in my car at a park.
I
left the house altogether.
Get away.
Yeah. My wife was like, go sit in the driveway. So if I sit in the driveway, they're coming out.
So they'll find you. They'll find you.
Yeah.
How many kids do you
took
have?
a ride down the parkway. What's that?
How many kids do you have?
I have two kids, two boys. They're 4 and 6.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
The kids say, yeah.
So
Steve, I got to talk to your buddy over on the Better Off Drunk podcast, Mike, and getting to talk to him and all that. It's always interesting to meet other comics from different places and all that. You know, I've been stuck in New York where it's a little more limited, I guess, compared to Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out 5-6 days a week at least doing something right now. And I mean, the city just keeps shutting down again. You know, it's a shame, but
yeah, it's a yo-yo. It's a yo-yo. But like, I like that you've stayed busy during this whole pandemic, I guess you could say, just in the sense of like, this is I don't want to say excuse, but I guess, yeah, it's a great excuse for someone to just kind of be like, oh, I tried it. I gotta walk away from this now. But it seems like you guys really like just kind of dug in.
Yeah, I mean, I only had 3 weeks in before everything shut down. I think I did 20 mics and everything shut down like a year ago this week. And then in June, I found a spot that opened back up like on the low. And I started back up again and it just snowballed from there. I've been out basically 6 days a week since June, just trying to work.
Yeah. Hey, I love it. That's a dedication. You know, a lot of people don't want to put in that type of work and shit, especially just beginning and then pandemic hits. So that it's like complete game change and all that. The fact that, you know, you actually stuck with it and you actually went out to find someplace, commendable to say the least.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, it really worked out better for me than it did most people. Because everyone that was out doing things had to come down to the level that I was, not comedically, but like the same place that I was physically.
Mm-hmm. You had to go back to basics.
People that had shows and everything booked are now just any opportunity they can get for stage time are coming out to the same mic that I am. So I was able to meet a lot of people that I normally wouldn't have met until I was probably a year or two in at least. You know, I met them really my first month of comedy and got to know a lot of very good people through that. So that part of it was really cool.
No, like you got to take advantage of every situation in a sense. And took me a while just to get comfortable with all that. And I think about like, if I started right before the pandemic, what would that have done? And, you know, for me, I'm lucky that I get to at least produce some shows in upstate New York where it's a little easier to get away with stuff like that, especially
Yeah.
with like outdoor stages and stuff like that where I live. So I was able to stay busy but it took me a while to get to that confidence and I guess that position that I could actually start doing that.
Yeah, it definitely made you figure out what you were capable of. As a comic, as a person, in any sense, really. Like, it's what can I do now? Because there's nothing to do. So
It's true. It's true. It's either you can just sit there and waste away, or you can actually get off your ass and do something and stay busy.
yeah,
That's pretty much what I tell everybody who's like depressed or something throughout 2020. I was just like, you got to get up and do something. You can't just sit around wallowing in self-pity.
all right, like just do anything. I mean, go for a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Find
shit.
some woods to wander around and eat some mushrooms. Have a good time.
Mushrooms is how I got into stand-up. So yeah, I fully
Oh,
commit.
shit.
Yeah. My friend wanted to try stand-up, and he was like, yeah, let's go. And he just found these like 2 stems that had been, God knows, sitting in his like dresser drawer for however long or something. He's like, yeah, we'll just eat this. We'll get a nice body high or something. And at the time, I was still like a virgin going to the city, and we took a train in, and we sat in the wrong kind of. The way it goes is like some you're going regular, and the others you're sitting kind of going backwards, going into the city, and
Yeah.
that's where we sat. And throughout the whole time, it's like I'm like, it's just one stem. How am I like this fucked up right now that I'm actually tripping? And we get off, and we're both like, whoa. And we're like, all right, you know what? We got some time. We'd never gone to the city, so we didn't know. Like, now knowing what I know, we were never going to make any of the mic that he wanted to get to, because I've done it before. So it's just like so clueless about it. So we're just like, hey, we'll go to the planetarium before we go to the mic. And we think we're just going to walk across like Central Park, but virgin in the city. I don't realize that like Central Park is huge, and that it was like fucking Chronicles of Narnia, just like walking across there and just trying to get to everything. It was brutal. And we just ended up just going to Bleecker Street and stumbled into the Village Lantern. And just by chance, they had a mic going in the back. So we went back there, and I saw that he was going to like wuss out from doing it. So I was like, well, if I do it, he'll do it then. He has to do it.
He's got to do it if I do it.
Do it. So then it just started from there, and I was just like, all right, let me just start trying to do this, find out where mics were, and follow through and just keep going.
My first mic was like 5 minutes away from my house.
Oh, really?
Tuesday night. Yeah. And I had a bunch of time off work because I just had shoulder surgery. So I was like, if I'm going to do this that I've wanted to do forever, like I might as well do it now because I've got the time. I don't have to be at work in the morning. I can be out on weeknights, like no big deal. So I went out and I hit the first one, did 2.5 minutes, dropped the mic off the cord, got off stage and went to a second mic.
You just got to keep
Haven't
moving
stopped.
sometimes.
Yeah. And now I do have to go to work because I went back and I'm still out at night. Yeah, it's not
Lovely.
good.
Mind me asking, how old are you, Steve?
36.
Jolly, finally, an older guy, another old. I'm usually the old guy when I'm talking to people. It's like most of them are in their 20s. I was like the only one in my 30s. And I always kind of look back, and I talked to Mike about it, how there was the Joe Rogan podcast with Anthony Jeselnik, where they're talking about how it was crazy for guys older to get into stand-up or something. Like, that was like, you should probably do it when you're young or something. And I was just like, nah, if I did it when I was young, I wasn't as comfortable or as real with myself as I am now.
Like, I was a disaster of a human being when I was 22.
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
business being out in public like that all the time trying to talk to people.
No.
I would not have been well liked at all. 22-year-old me was not a good person.
Exactly. I look at that. I'm like, no. I would have just been reckless and probably wouldn't have given the business the respect that it deserves. And probably like most 20 years, I would have started and then I would have just like, all right, I did it, I'm done, and just walk away. I wouldn't have the commitment, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's wild because I am one of the older people everywhere I go. Really, everyone that's older than me has been doing comedy for 15 years
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. You know, I can hang out with them in a social setting and be very comfortable, but comedically, like they're levels above, because they've got the time in. So it's fun to see. I don't know. I am like a 22-year-old in comedy, but I'm a grown up in real life, which is it's a weird thing to be.
Yeah, I always like most of the comics I book for my shows. They are younger than me and stuff, and some have more years than me. Some have like the exact same. Like I started when I was 28, turning.
All right.
So I'm like going on my 5 year. It'll be my 5 years. Actually, this coming week will be 5 years for me.
Nice.
But just making that conscious decision to actually start doing stand-up, like you had the time, you had all that, and you said you always had like a interest in comedy and stuff like that, whereas like I guess like with most, there's like these comics or something that you saw that like maybe kind of like inspires like, oh yeah, I get that, what they're doing or something, or like was like for fandom for you.
I mean, so for that, and in that regard with stand up, I always loved it. I always watched, like when Comedy Central came out when I was a kid and it was just stand up comedy. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
Oh yeah, you got to see a bunch. You saw a bunch of people like first like half hours and stuff that are now like established in the business. You may not like see them everywhere, but it's like, oh, I remember that Comedy Central went back when Comedy Central was like dope, I guess comedy. You can say. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I mean, really the person that made me want to do stand up was Patrice.
Did you see the documentary? Killing,
I did.
Yeah.
Killing is easy.
Yeah, Killing is easy.
Well, first of all, I don't think killing is easy. I think that maybe for Patrice it was, but for a lot of people it's not. But he had it figured out. He really did. It wasn't even like it was a science or anything. To him, I think it was just life. And the way that he saw things made people laugh. And that's, it's admirable.
He definitely came at things with a different mindset. I believe, like, they kind of explained the whole title, Killing Easy. For him, it was like, yeah, you can kill, but if that's your only focus, what do you really want to do on a stage? Do you just want to kill, or do you want to do something else? Do you want to make people think? Do you want to just start a conversation or something like that? And you could tell that from his stand-up of just like, oh, okay, he wasn't somebody that necessarily the system liked, but that was like in place and all that. And it is true, he probably should have been bigger than he was, but he still left this, like, maybe not in public popular opinion or something like that, but for anybody interested in comedy, there is a legacy like cemented just for what he did.
And it's the respect that everyone speaks of. It's just that's really all I think that I've ever wanted, was to be funny enough to be respected by funny people. Is that a weird thing to say?
No, I think that's legit. It's great to have fans and all that, but the respect of your peers also goes kind of like a long way. Like, you see the difference in certain like celebrities or people like that. Like, you can see the people that got into stand-up or any music or anything like that did it because they wanted to be famous. And then you see the other ones that did it because they just love it. And success came to them because of that genuineness and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, which spectrum do you want to be put on? Do you want to be known as the person doing it for the money, or the person who would still be doing it regardless?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be the guy that that wants to do it. You know, like because especially because of when I started. Like I got a wife, I got 2 kids, I got a day job with benefits and a pension. Like, how do I quit my job to go on tour to make $100 a night, 2 days a week, and like maybe drive Uber in between? Like the path for me to actually become good, not good enough, but known enough is it's a rough path right now.
It's
So
a very
all I
different
can
one.
really do is, yeah. So all I can really do is be happy that, like the situation where I came to know you through Preston, where Preston thought enough of me to recommend me to you, and then you saw a tape and you thought the tape was good enough that you booked. That's it. That's good enough for me right now. I'm super happy that that thing happened to me. I
Oh
don't
no, look,
much more.
my thing has always just been giving people a chance. Like I've done 7 shows. My focus has always been, some people will focus on the money. We got to make this back and all that. My thing is just, I just want to have a good show and give people opportunity and whatnot. Because for me, those first 3 years were tough just because I was going down to the city, not living there. So you can see how people who live down in the city already have their connections and stuff there. And you're just kind of that like outsider that comes in every week or every
Yeah,
other week to do a couple mics and hopefully make it back to Port Authority in time to catch his bus back home and
yeah,
whatnot.
that's rough.
So there is this separation. And for years, people are like, why don't you do something up here and all that? And I thought that was a joke because the mentality usually in like small towns is just like, there's nothing happening here. I don't want to do anything. And I had to like get into this mindset of like, I might as well make something happen. And I really don't look for like big names per se or something like that. It's more so who's doing the work, who wants it, and who has that same kind of mentality as I do. And
Yeah,
that,
the grind.
yeah, you just want to perform.
Like, let's go to
Like,
work.
there's some people that like right away, they just want to throw out like a price. It's like, oh, I'll do this for this and all that. And it's just like, I can do some, like, I want to throw the comics money and stuff like that. But it's also tough. Like, I'm not really making money from a lot of the shows I've done, that it's like, all right, I have to prioritize. Most people, they don't care about the comedy. They're coming for the music. I'm using the music to get people to come out so that the comedy has a chance to just kind of like
Right.
sprinkle that in there and get
Yeah,
that.
just kind of mix it throughout the day. And
If I can throw gas money and shit like that, that's what I try and do. But I also give them the chance to, like, I don't really put like, I give the 10 to 15 minutes. I'm like, just go do what you feel comfortable with. If you start going over the time, that's when I'll be like, hey, but for the most part, I'm going to let you feel it out, feel how you want to do. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but you don't really get that experience too often, especially early in comedy. Right. It's mostly like open mics where you're talking to other comics and stuff like that, which is fine. But at the same time, you want that audience reaction so you can just mentally make notes for yourself as to, okay, this is how this gets this reaction and all that. This is a little different than how I envision it in my head or how people that are in comedy would normally react. And then you start to figure out your voice and stuff that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've always liked doing the mixed mics. Like the same concept as the shows you promote is, if there's 4 rappers, a lady with a guitar, 2 poets, and 3 comics, that's not an audience full of comics. And chances are the people that are doing music have at least one person they brought with them. Comedy's comedy's lonely. You leave your house and there's no one coming with you to do your girlfriend isn't getting in the car with you every day to go to an open mic. Your friend's not going to get in the car like, hey, dude, I'm going to a mic. You want to go? No, I don't want to come watch you be bad at comedy. Like,
oh, it's so true. It's so true. Like, I had some friends come with me to open mics, and I just like, all right, no more mics. If I do like a bringer show or something where there's like other audience members and stuff like that, then I'll be like, all right, cool. And I know a lot of comics that hate bringer shows or the idea. And my suggestion to them all the time is like, well, are you just bringing them out to see you perform? Is that's all you're doing, right? It's like, all right, come out and then we'll just go home. If you're gonna go to a city or someplace, then set up to do something afterwards. Just make it a whole event or something, so it's
kind of
more enticing. Yeah. It's not necessarily a bribe, but you might as well, if you're gonna do it, you might as well have some fun and make it something positive. This way, if you bomb, after it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this and try and fucking forget that this happened.
Yeah, that sucked. And now we're gonna go to a bar or go do something else over there and go have a good time.
I think like one of the places I found was this Shots bar. And it has like just a pamphlet of just shots, and then they just have basic beer. That's just their specialty and all that. And that was like the spot. And I walked in with like 7 people, went out to get pizza. Only 4 of us came back. Stepped outside again, only 2. And it was like just like a countdown of my friends just like tapping out. And it was just me walking back in, and the bartender just looks at me and is like, Tom, you're a fucking savage. I don't know what you're doing. And all that. I was like, look, man, I got a master's in alcoholism. It's spelled DWI, but it's same degree. But you gotta have fun with it. And most of the time, people outside of comedy, and unless you have a name, there's, I don't want to say disrespect towards the idea of like, oh, he's doing comedy or something like that, but it's also like low expectations, I guess.
It's either people think that like you're going to be on Netflix because you tell them that you do comedy, or they're like, that I've never heard of anyone that you're on this show with. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And
I'd be like, no, you should come because these are funny people that you just don't know about yet. And then like you could be like, oh, you remember all the people that said that they saw Motley Crue on Rodeo Drive or whatever before? Like now this can be you. You can get to see the next thing before it's a thing now.
See the coal before it becomes a diamond or whatever fucking phrase they would say. Yeah. It's most people like, I guess that's kind of the difference with music and comedy, in the sense that like anybody will go see a music act. They're just like, oh, music? Okay, I'll check it out. Comedy, there's almost like a kind of like, it's like, who? Like you have to know a name or something to actually care. Almost, it's like, I guess I'll go support you and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Like even my wife. If my wife walks into a bar and there happens to be a band there, unless they're the worst thing she's ever seen, she's gonna have a good time. If she walked into a bar and there was random comedy happening, she's probably not staying, or she's gonna be an asshole.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you get those.
Yeah.
It's a very underestimated thing, I guess you could say, just of how that works. Yeah. But like, have you had any like interesting experiences doing these mics during the pandemic or anything? Any like funny stories or something?
I mean, for the most, it's been pretty calm, and it's really like kind of a core group of people that I see on a regular. I see like the same 40 comics, rotated in and out like 6 days a week. So nothing really crazy has happened yet. Like I do a mic on Mondays that my buddy Elazar puts on, and it's at a bar that like apparently before the pandemic was the craziest thing in the world, like fights and people fucking dying in the bathroom and just craziness. And now it's just 15 comics and 8 people at a bar. Like everything's calmed down a lot. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the chaos. I love chaos.
Say, little mayhem never went wrong. That's at least in my belief. Oh, it's like a little of that.
Good time. I've met some very interesting people that probably shouldn't be walking around in the world freely. I will say that much. But
yeah, you do meet some characters. You meet some characters. There was a comic who had a whole freak out at a mic, calling a bunch of patrons at the bar, faggots and whatnot, just like flipping out on them.
Okay.
And then like the guy running the mic, he like pulled inside, was talking to him, and he just comes out and like he chastised him. And then he like comes up, he's like, he blamed it on Burger King, that like his blood sugar or stuff. like it's the damn Burger King. Fuck me up, man. I'm sorry. It's like apologizing and blaming Burger. It's like it was the Burger King. I don't know. It's like, oh shit.
That's wow. I'm gonna use that on my wife later. Like, I'm sorry. It was Burger King.
I'm sorry. It happens.
Yeah. That's
no,
crazy.
That's it. You just meet like interesting characters and stuff in this. But at the same time, I think you meet, how do I say it? You sometimes realer people, I think, also, in a sense, just in comedy.
There's nothing to hide behind. For at least 5 minutes, you get to see that person's brain. Even if they're different at the bar, you still know what you saw when they were in front of a microphone. You know, so they could try to not be that, but that's who you really are. That's your thought process. Because that's all comedy is your thoughts coming out of your mouth to people that probably don't want to hear them.
Yeah.
Like,
it really is. Just letting your voice out there and then just like seeing what happens. I mean, you can tell when someone's just putting on an act or if they like rehearse. Like, I know when I first started, I like rehearsed my like that tight five. I had to get that tight five. And it was just like rehearse. I'd like say it when I'm walking to work. I say it like just like doing it, timing myself and shit. And then when I realized, like looking back on videos, I was just like, oh, I am so fucking robotic. And like, you can tell this is scripted. It's not as free flowing as I am now, where I'm just like more relaxed with it. Just like that tightness when you're up there and all that. And you have to get that you have to get comfortable quick. Just in this idea.
When I started, I think probably the first 30 or 40 times I went up, I wouldn't even make the light to get my 5 minutes because I was just running through the jokes that I had written, like you said, like a robot. And then when I relaxed and I was able to calm down and switch things up and talk to people, you know, it changed everything really. You know, when I went from just a guy that wrote some jokes and I have to tell my jokes to stop, relax, talk to them like they're people instead of, I don't even know what I was doing at first. I was just yelling jokes at people quietly, like,
yeah,
on a script. So I think that, you know, becoming comfortable is definitely, it's helped a lot.
It, you know, and it takes a varying time for different people and all that, just to find that comfortableness. It's really just kind of like accepting, I mean, they're going to be good, I'm going to be bad, whatever, I'm doing it.
Oh yeah. Accepting that it might not go well and that's okay because it might go well tomorrow. You know, that helps a lot. Like I had a good week this week, went and did a thing Thursday night and the room was dead. Just the whole place bombed. I watched 10 people in a row bomb. Went up, tried to do something, you know, tried to do something different, do something new. It didn't really work out. And then, you know, that's okay. I'll go up Friday. I'll go up Saturday. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take what I did that day from that experience, try to learn from it and make everything else better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see it. Sometimes that's the thought. Like, I've had people reach out about getting into stand-up, and it's just kind of one of those things where either they just don't understand or want to do the work, or they think, oh yeah, you know, just give me a mic and I'll be good. You know, I don't want to, and they openly say, I don't want to bomb. Like when I suggest go hit up an open mic or something like that, just like it doesn't process fully that, oh no, this is a job. You're probably not going to get paid for it for a while, and you're going to have to just dig in.
And there are a lot of days it's not going to go well. It's, you know, nobody just goes up and does well every day. it just doesn't happen. Not that I've seen. You could do good most days, but there's going to be a day. There's a mic a week or a mic every few days that it's just not going to go because you're trying things. You're trying to learn. You're trying to grow, and it can't always be right.
No, you can't. And I think that like ties back to what I brought up earlier, being a little older, getting into comedy. You look back at like our younger selves. Would I have that maturity and like knowledge, or would have been one of those? Oh, I did bad. I'm not going to do this again. Oh, I failed.
Yeah, there's no way. I could have just sat at the bar instead of going up and embarrassing myself.
Yeah,
and that's what I would have done.
Yeah, I think I just reached that point that I was just like, fuck it. Like, I fucked up enough in life. Like, well, what's anybody going to really say? Oh, you suck. It's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my job sucks too. And my kids like to yell at me. Like, this is just strangers. I'm good, dude.
That's it. It's getting over that nervousness. Like, I've seen comics like freak out at mics or something just because people are there, and it's just like, this is nothing, bro. Just like calm down, take a deep breath. This is so what? A cop's here. Cool. He's sitting at the bar drinking. Just fuck with him and just be like, hey, you got a DD, buddy? You got a DD? You have fun with it. It's like you're doing jokes. If anybody gets like too serious with it, whatever.
That's literally you're there to tell jokes. Have fun. It's supposed to be fun. Even when it's not fun, it's fun.
Yeah, because you're doing it. Like I try to explain sometimes to people that it's like it's a different, like, as cliche as it is, a different high. It's that different kind of excitement of just doing something. And it doesn't have to be comedy. It could be anything. It's just like, this is something I want to do. And just doing it is good enough for me at this point. Like, do I want more? Yeah, I'd like more. But the fact that I'm just doing it now, it's just like, there's a satisfaction there that, I don't really have personally for myself and many other things in my life.
Right. Yeah, I've got work, my family, and comedy. That's basically it. I get to be three people every day.
Yeah.
And I'm decent at two of them. Work is suffering a little bit.
Work is. I was gonna say you're going 6 days. You're like 6 or 5 days a week going on the comedy with a job and with kids. It's got to be a little tiring at sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm exhausted constantly. But there's like one day a week that I don't go out, and then like last night I stayed home, hung out with the kids. I was in bed by 9, got up a little bit late today. That's my good day. Tonight I've got to record the podcast, and then I'll probably go to a show at a strip club, a comedy show at a strip club. I need to clarify that.
In case the wife listens back to this.
Yeah, she knows I'm going to be at Flamingos later. And then tomorrow I got my kids all day, and then I got a mic at night. I won't get home until probably 1 or 2, and then I'm up at 5:30 Monday, and that's my week pretty much straight through. Every day is that day.
Mm-hmm. Just let that be notice to people that think. Who complain about the whole grind and all that is like, you don't know how much other people are actually sacrificing. I wouldn't say sacrifice. It's not so much you're sacrificing like family time. It's just like balancing how much they have to balance in their lives to actually make this work sometimes.
Oh yeah. And any one of these three things could go off the rails very easily with the way that I'm living at this point. Like
definitely there's always that risk,
the opportunity to fail miserably at one of these three parts of my life is it's right there all the time.
You're literally the tightrope balance of just like, I gotta maybe tonight I shouldn't show up too late coming back home. I think my wife was a little pissed off last time.
Oh yeah, it'll be like, It'll be 11. I'll be like, I should go home now instead of staying for this extra 2 hours. The rough part is the spot that I'm at Sundays and Wednesdays that we do our mic at. Well, it's not my mic, but it's the mic we consider it our mic.
Your home base, essentially.
Yeah, it's home base. It literally is my comedy home. It's at a social club, so we don't have to leave. There's no one throwing us out. There's no bartender. Most of the time, I'm one of the bartenders. Like, so there's nothing making me leave, except that thing in the back of my head, like, hey, dipshit, you have work in 5 hours, and then you have to take care of your kids before you try to do this again. Get it together and go home. So I'm saying, if I was 22 and I was doing this, it wouldn't have worked out.
No. And that's it's a difference. My pullout game's still on point, I believe, so I don't have to worry about the kids staying so far, no family and all that. So I do have
you.
You can say fuck you, Tom.
No. I'm not upset with people that don't have kids. It's 100% my own fault.
It's all good. Well, you got 2 boys, and according to was it the Jersey Shore, if the girl has an orgasm, she ends up having boys when she gets pregnant. So
I will take that.
Frost on you.
I'm doing great. It's definitely had nothing to do with tequila at all. Definitely no birth control failure involved. Yeah.
This was all planned. It was all...
Yeah. Yep, at least one of them.
So, we're gonna take a quick little break, Steve, and
all right.
When we get back, we'll get into the family thing. I'm always curious about the guys with families and doing this whole stand-up thing, because like we've kind of discussed, it's always kind of difficult to explain to people just like the time and effort you actually have to put into this to make it work. And knowing me, I'm just like, I always give props to the guys with a family and all that that are actually doing this. It's like your dedication is way higher than mine. I would say that.
All right.
But we'll have fun with that and get into some of your Better Off Drunk podcasts, your drinking games and all that. I do have my questions I didn't get to ask Mike about, so I'll ask the other half. But we'll be right
good.
back. Yeah. But we'll be right back after this. And we're back. Hey guys, Tommy Tom, and I'm here with my boy Steve Pocaro, and we've been talking about comedy and all that, but we did leave off on your whole family aspect and all that. I gotta ask, like, what is I guess the most important question is, what is your wife? How does your wife feel about this recent year of you going into like comedy? Like, how long have you guys been together?
I've been with my wife 13 years. So she knows who I am as a person and what brought me to this point. So she doesn't mind the comedy most of the time. I mean, I really do. I bring chaos into my house. I'm a chaotic person, and it makes my kids chaotic. And she really just wants her peace and quiet a lot of the times. Like, she's the only female. That's it.
Yeah.
It's me and 2 savage little boys. So normally, like, average day, I get out of work at 3:30. I'll go pick the kids up. I'll hang out with them until she gets out of work. We'll have dinner, like hang out. I'll do bath time with the kids. And then 7:30, I'll put my older son in bed because he's got school in the morning. And then I'm out. And then apparently my house is like the quietest place in the world. So
you're the fucking chaos like black hole that just comes in, and then it's just like everything just starts getting destroyed around you.
Oh yeah, like if she's got the day off and she's home with the kids, I walk in and all hell breaks loose. And she looks at me, she's like, "This is you." They were just sitting there like playing peacefully for 3 hours, and I walk in the door and it's chaos. So yeah. So in that regard, she doesn't really mind because everything quiets down. And I try to give her. I mean, the ratio's way off, dude. Like every other Friday, she goes out and does whatever she wants. She normally goes to hang out with her brother and his girlfriend, and that's it. I'm out 6 days a week, and she goes out every other Friday, and she's happy. And I don't know. She's a fucking angel.
Any wife of a comic should probably get sainthood automatically.
Oh yeah, she earned it. She's never seen me go up.
No,
Never. She doesn't.
Has she ever had any Has she ever had any interest to actually see you?
No, I almost guilted her. So April 16th, I'm on a show, and it's like kind of my birthday show. And I told her about it, and she was like, not really interested in coming, but I think she was going to. And last night I said, you don't have to come. It's okay. You can stay home, and I'll go hang out with my degenerate comic friends and do that, and you don't have to be exposed to them. Because she said she doesn't like comedy, and she doesn't like strangers. So why would she want to hang out with a bunch of strangers that think they're funny? I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, you know what?
That's
a fair argument. That's a fair argument. You can't really like battle against it. It's like, all right, touche, you got this one.
Yeah, like, okay, you can stay home. If I ever do something cooler than this, I'll let you know, and you can come out. But I'm gonna go have fun with my comic friends, and like my mom has seen me. My mom's come to a couple things. My dad saw me for the first time the other day, and he brought me a decommissioned 50 caliber bullet and handed it to me before the show for no reason. Yeah, it's right here.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he brought me a fucking bullet. Like, okay, go tell jokes now. Like, what? I don't know what to do with this.
Shit.
So
the shows that I produce, they came before the pandemic because they're down in Georgia. They would come up from Georgia for the shows.
Oh, wow.
And it was always funny because I'd have a bunch of people that have known me since I was little come out just to check it out, and they would see my parents and they would hear me do my stand up, and always there would be this moment of somebody just be like, I can't believe you said that in front of your parents, because they know my parents as these good church going people and shit.
Right.
And then they hear me talking just foulness of sex and drugs and my ultimate failures in life and all that, and they're like, holy shit. And I think it's the first time a lot of people actually get is like, oh, he's doing stand-up. This is actually a thing. He's not just real. Talking about it. He's actually saying this in front of mom and dad. I was like, yeah, I'm in my 30s now. At this point, I'm pretty sure they know I've had sex, and they definitely know about my drug use and my drinking. So I might as well just be upfront.
Yeah, they know exactly who I am at this point in time. So there's no point in keeping it from them, especially in front of a room full of strangers.
Yeah.
Can't
go up there. Gee golly, guys, how are you doing today? Hey, how are you? It's like, no. Yeah. I can't put up that. I can't put up this false facade just because my parents are there and stuff. And I do that with even my friends, because I'm more of a storytelling comic. So I tell stories from my past and all that, and sometimes it includes some of my friends and all that. And there have been friends that are like, I don't think you should use our names and stuff like that. It's like, all right, cool. I won't use your name when you're there.
If you're there.
Yeah. If you're not gonna come to my shows and shit, it's like, why you want me to respect it? No. All right, if you did. And one of my friends, I had a slew of jokes about it, and he didn't care. And he was one of my boys that would always come with me to the city when I did showcases and all that. A joke about him and my other friend being my security guards and shit, and gave them security shirts one day, just walking around with me. It's like, this is my security team. It's like, and we were all the spectrums. One's black, one's white. I'm a little in between. I was like, we got 3 shades of disaster right here, because we're going to go out. But it's it is weird sometimes the family support when it comes to comedy and all that. Like sometimes I feel bad for my parents and just like, you guys have probably had all these like dreams and shit that you wanted to see me do.
Yeah, and now we're here.
We're here. We're here.
We're here, and you're watching me do this, and I'm gonna keep doing it whether you come or not. There's no way to stop it at this point. So you might as well get used to it because you're gonna see it one day.
Yeah. You know, in my case though, you know, they've seen a lot worse. So at this point, they're just like, this is great. You know, I did like a little fundraiser talent show, just hosting and just doing like my Grammys or my Academy Award audition of just like going through like a kind of scripted thing of just like, hey, it is just doing that. And I get a message from my parents, hey, we're watching the stream. I was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, they're probably loving this because this is the most clean I've been because I can't curse because this is like a fundraiser for kids. I was like, you guys have muted me right now. And it's like, and I get to do a podcast next week at like for another group of people. And it's like, all right, cool. This one I get to be a little uncensored and just be like, all right. So if you saw that, that's not me. That's me calm. I had to be. For the children, of course, you know.
Yeah, only for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom watched we live streamed the first podcast we did, and my mom watched it, and she waited a full day to call me. She called me the following day, like on her way home from work. She was like, "Steven, Mom," she goes, "You can't do that anymore." Why not? It's like you drank 6 beers in 13 minutes. I was like, well, why'd you count? You can't do that, Mom.
Oh shit. Yeah. I will have that where it's like I don't really drink in front of my parents or anything. It's just like there's my respect, but on the stage now I'm just gonna do my thing.
Yeah, definitely. So
I show certain respect and all that. I did. I like. I'm looking forward to July because they'll probably come up, and I do have a joke that's a little foul, but it's like it's calling back to them always like never wanting me to have a girl in my room or something. Like I wasn't allowed to have girls like stay over or something like that, and me just like my counter argument that I've held on to for so long, and that the walls in our fucking house were very thin. So it's, you know, a little hypocritical.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Trust me, you guys would have known if I was, because I know.
I look forward to seeing you do that in front of them.
It's always something with them, but it's not. It's fun. You know, the family support's always important and all that. What about like your friends, like your friends not in comedy? How do they like kind of view everything? I'm curious.
I told a friend of mine that I started doing comedy, and he looked at me and he said, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, so you know, my friends are they're not kind people, so they'll tell me exactly what they think.
You?
Yeah, like no, like you're retarded. You can't do jokes. You can't even talk. And I'm like, no. Turns out I can. So, I've gotten some support from friends that have come out, but that's the other thing about being older is like most of my friends can't come out to a bar on a Thursday at 9:00 to watch me tell jokes. Like it's just not a feasible thing for them. So.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of my friends have kids. I do joke on stage that it's like I've reached the point that like most of my friends either married and have kids or been in long-term relationships and shit like that. Like they're all I joke with them, they're domesticated and I'm still the degenerate asshole. I've somehow become the full degenerate asshole. I'm the only one with like a felony. I'm like, I'm the police record and all that. I was like, at one point, I was the good kid. Like, I didn't curse or drink caffeinated soda. And
Oh, wow.
somewhere this all changed and all that.
Well, those are always the kids where it always goes south for that kid. That kid that's like, you guys, you're messing up. I'm not doing the things you're doing. One day that kid has enough. And it goes off the rails in a hurry.
It wasn't. It was that I was too sneaky. I like, everyone viewed me as that, but like people that I actually hung out with knew I was like, I had that wild side.
Right.
And now it's just like, oh, it's open now. Like, I'll go to barbecues and all that. And I think there was like one barbecue I went to, and somehow all the kids at the barbecue were just hanging out with me and having me push them on like this little swing or something. And I'm doing this with one hand, drinking like homemade sangria in the other hand, and I'm looking at all the parents just like sitting there. I was like, this is bad parenting. You guys left all your kids with the alcoholic to fucking just push them and play with them.
They could drink in peace without their kids.
They'll take it. I've you know,
every party with children needs a guy like you. You're a necessity there. Because
I'm
you
pretty
get
sure
to,
this is the only reason I get invites now. It's just like Tom's gonna say some wild shit at us and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he can distract all the kids. They'll just go play with him or chase him around or something, and he'll indulge them.
Yeah, that's a very necessary person.
Mm-hmm.
Very necessary.
I'm fun Uncle Tom in that sense, which is, you know, one of my other jokes of just like, anybody that thinks racism can't be funny, you clearly have never had some little white baby run up to you screaming, Uncle Tom, and you're just saying like, oh, you little fucking cracker, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me. You know what? You're lucky you're cute. And then the dad's like, yeah, Uncle Tom is like, you shut the fuck up. You're not.
You can't do this.
No.
Can't do this.
They can. You can't.
Yeah.
Dude. It's always interesting the kid aspect. Like, your kids are still young. Do they have like a kind of concept that dad's going out late at night to go tell jokes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My big one asks me every day, Dad, you gonna go tell jokes tonight? And I'll be like, yeah. And then he'll try and tell me a joke sometimes, or he'll be like, or he'll just come straight at me and be like, make sure you're funny. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can be, but I'll try, dude. Like,
that's gonna be your roughest critic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't know, he'll probably be funnier than I could ever be. Like he's got it in him. I don't know. It's just natural. You know, I just started doing a joke again about how he asked me why I'm not a cop. And I looked at him and I was like, well, yeah, I couldn't tell him that Daddy's been to jail. And that's why Daddy's not a cop. So I was like, oh, I'm too old or whatever. And he walked up to me and he smacked my stomach and he's like, you sure it's not because of this, big boy?
Oh shit. That's man, your kids like, oh, you better watch out. You might be looking at your kid's future. Given that like I used to fuck with my dad a lot like that. Like, we'd be in church and I just start poking his belly and he look at me and I look up at him and be like, I'm checking the baby. And he shake his head, be like, this little motherfucker right here.
Yep. Yeah, that's him through and through. Yeah, and the little one is just like, it's having a squirrel in the house all the time.
This wild running around.
Yeah, dude, they're chaotic. I mean, they're great, but you know, this hour of freedom that I sit in my car to park and talk to you on a Saturday afternoon, this is like the best thing that's happened to me midday on a Saturday, and I couldn't even tell you how long. Before this, I was at a truck parade.
A truck parade?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a little escape. I mean, I've caught myself in like the last decade. I was looking back. It's like, wow, I've really only hooked up with like 1 second. All right. Had to yell at these old bastards. I live in like a crack house. It's entertaining.
Okay.
Pretty much like I went to rehab. They set me up with this place. They're like, oh yeah, this is good. This would be good for you. These are a bunch of people, clean, sober, getting out of there. I opened the drawer to the dresser that was already in here, and there's just a white bag just sitting right there, a little white powdered bag sitting there. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Oh, look, a mystery.
Ooh, I found. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah.
But no,
That's rough.
I fuck with the old guy next door. Just talking shit to him all the time because he sits there. I was like, "What's up, Father Time? What are you doing? I'm just sitting there waiting to die. Is that what you're doing? Cool."
Well, as a matter of fact, yes.
So that all fucked me up. I was like, "Who's knocking on my door?"
I thought you just mistimed like a Chinese food delivery. Like, I'm gonna set this up for when this is over.
No. Usually I get left alone in my place. That's one of the benefits and all that. Oh yeah, now I know where I was. It was like, yeah, I've realized in like the last like 10 years, if I look at my hookups, I was like, I've been only hooking up with like moms. Lots of moms with their kids, and I always end up liking the kids way more than the mom. I'm like, your mom's fucked up, but you're a cool kid.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. To a kid and just wind up with their mother, that's not a good look.
Yeah, and it definitely isn't. But it's not like I go out to like places and I'm just like, yo, where the mom's at or something like that. It just like I just start talking. They end up being a mom, and somehow I end up meeting the kids. Me and the kids get along fine. The mom's crazy. It's just like, I like you, kid, but yeah, I'm out.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
You do.
Yeah.
But tell me more about the Better Off Drunk podcast, because like I learned about it a little later from Mike in our interview, which I think I'm rendering right now on my other computer to put up next week. Essentially, you guys do drinking games and figure out and stuff like that.
Yeah. You play drinking games, obviously, throughout your life.
Oh yeah.
And you'll kind of always have that night where you're like, somebody should have recorded that. That was awesome. We're trying to do that, almost unintentionally. Mike came to me with the idea he wanted to do comics playing poker, and I was like, well, I can't really play poker. I'm not very good at that. Like, it sounds like a good idea. And then just through conversation, we started like, why don't we just do drinking games? Like, most of the people we hang out, if you're not sober and you're a comic, you're a drunk for the most part. There's two classifications of people. There's people that don't get drunk anymore and people that get drunk too much. If you're a comic.
Not going to argue that one.
So it basically turned into it's Mike and I, and then we'll have either 2 or 3 other comics on, and we open our first beer when the podcast starts, and an hour later, throughout whatever game we're playing, we're normally hammered, and the conversation follows that path, which is interesting sometimes. That's going to be what gets me fired from my actual job, is going to be this podcast. Because
be like, Steve, can you come in for a moment?
Yeah. We found this thing on YouTube, actually, so the whole world can see it. And this is what you said, and I'm gonna have nothing.
You remember that promotion you were going for? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna need you to clean out your locker.
No, man. No, I think I talked to Mike. It was like, maybe in the show in July, we'll just we'll film something. I'm curious,
that would be awesome.
Have you ever heard of the game 3-Man?
No.
It's like the game Kings, but you do it with dice, and there's certain rules and all that to have fun. That was my, I guess, the game I was known for in college, that I brought from like my hometown and brought up there. And I was like, I will play 3-Man, because people would like try and play CeeLo and all that for money. I was like, let's play a drinking game. I got one. This one's easy.
Yeah.
And
definitely
usually
down
works
for
in getting somebody fucked up pretty quick. Somebody gets fucked up real quick. Usually the person who ends up being 3-Man. That's all I'll tease. That's all I'll tease for now.
Okay. All right. We've actually had some other comics come on and bring like a new game that we didn't know how to play, and just kind of run the game. You know, it's a good time. So I look forward to that. That's awesome.
Jolly. Shit. But you've been doing that podcast. You've been doing stand-up. This like you're entering that first year. How do you, looking back on this first year of comedy for you? I guess what can you take from it? What would be the insight of Steve? I guess you could say into this journey.
I don't really know if I have any good insight. Like, it's just, I've learned that you have to do it to be able to do it, which is a very basic thing to say, but a lot of people, you know, you see them once a week and it's just the same thing every week. But the people that you see 4 times a week or that you know are out all the time, you see their progression. And if you pay attention, the lesson tells itself. You know, go up, work, and that's the only way you're ever going to get better at it, really, unless you're a genius, which I don't know how many of them I've run across at this point. You know?
I believe I have.
No, I just got this. Something ran up in my mirror. It was a kid on a bike. Messed me up real quick.
Oh, shit. Well, Steve, I've kept you for your hour of freedom. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to release you back into to the family and your hectic days, as you've illustrated quite nicely today.
Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna go for a hike and go adopt a cat when I'm done here.
Full on. Would you like to go on a vegan diet as well?
Good. Yeah, time for that shit.
Good. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Yeah. Don't push it.
That's it. That's it. So, all right, man. Thank you for having me on, dude.
Yeah, but anything you want to plug or anything for the audience, where they can find you and all that?
Just Instagram, Pocaro Comedy, Pocaro Comedy. That's it. Anything I'm doing is going to be posted up there. Got a Facebook page. Don't really update it much. Going to be very honest with you. And that's pretty much it. Check out Better Off Drunk on YouTube, Spotify. Better on YouTube because you can see it and it's drinking games. So, but
guys, of course, you can find me. Well, if you're listening to this, you've already found the podcast. But if you'd like to actually contact and talk to me, you guys can find me on Twitter at the TommyTom88 and on Instagram at TommyTomP88. Steve, once again, thank you for giving me your time. Wish you luck as you go back into your world.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go record the podcast in like 4 hours. So I get
man,
live that life today.
Won't stop, can't stop. Steve Pocaro. All right, buddy. You take care. See you all next time. All right. And we're done.
I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Flip personality, you know it's I. You never seen my kind, never seen a sliver or a slice. I'm the butcher, choice cuts, know I'm nice. You got beef? I got waggle with a knife. Now I'm gonna be wrapping up bodies up at night. Like Ray Charles, y'all know I'm out of sight. Now I'm gonna be slaying niggas, cause you know I love the life. Yo, you gotta read between the lines. I'm only gonna be moving when I'm read through all the signs. Johnny Mnemonic, I got an upgraded mind. This is for the rebels and their revolutionary minds. Cybernetic linguistics, you know I'm on my mind. Prototype the new dimension, man, that shit is mine. Future is creation and creation is sublime. Make your own legend, only happens with time.